All right, so today we're gonna be going to another epic home studio here in Nashville, actually in Franklin, Tennessee. And this is a cool one because we've done a tour with this producer before in a whole house studio setup, but he is now in a new house, a whole new, it's called the Black House. This is literally the house he used to live in, but got to convert the entire home into a studio, kitchen, lounge, obviously bedroom, guest room, B-room for writing. It's super awesome. It's my friend Thomas Toner, very successful producer, engineer, mixer, worked with Jelly Roll, Upchurch, and many more we'll see in the video. Really nice guy. I'll put a link to him down in the description. Give him a follow and check out some of the work he has done. Really cool studio. This is like goals for what we want to do over here. So really fun tour. As we're going through, let me know down in the comments what you think of this studio. It's really well done. And he had just moved in, so it's, you know, he's still kind of tweaking things, but it's very impressive. I'm gonna go ahead personally and sponsor this video again because we've been super lucky with sessions and actually consultations. Never plug this in my videos, but you can actually go to my website at andrewmastersmusic.com and schedule a Zoom call consultation with me. And most of the time what people do is they're in the middle of a studio setup or a studio build, and they will book the call and we'll kind of go over some of their plans, gear ideas and layout, and just kind of help figure out what their goals are, and with the idea being trying to accomplish the goals that they have for their studio setup. So you can actually book those consultations again at my website. I'll put a link to it at the top of the description, andrewmastersmusic.com. And again, if you want to book some remote drum recordings, we have been doing a lot of drums over here. In fact, there's a new video over on my Studio Time channel showing exactly how I select the drums and cymbals for the song. If you want to check that out, that's a little behind the scenes of how we actually get the sounds for the songs that we're hired to do or the songs we're producing. That was a really fun video to do, and the sounds are quite tasty. So I'll put a link to that down in the description. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit the like button on this, and let's go check out Thomas's new studio, the Black House.
What's up, guys? It's Thomas Toner, stonebabysounds on socials, and you're at the Black House. Let's go check it out.
So this is the new spot.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about it.
So I actually used to live here. This was my house, and luckily we're fortunate to build a new house in Leapers Fork, and so I kept this house and turned it into the studio. It was really just made to be the studio, so I'm super stoked about it. But yeah, let's dive in. Let's go check it out. So this is like the lounge. Obviously you walk in, pool table. I've had this for a few years, but it just fit perfectly here. Got a nice big kitchen, lounge area. The house is kind of split. The front area is one section, the back area is a whole other section. Down this way, we've got a B room, we've got a guest bedroom for artists, clients to come stay, as well as like storage, bathrooms, things of that nature. So we can go check those rooms out if you like.
Dude, I just gotta point out, being able to have the whole house, I mean, I think it's a lot of people's dream when they're in their own house. They're like, man, if I could just get rid of all my stuff and just turn the whole thing into a studio.
Definitely dream scenario for sure. I'm super fortunate for that. Yeah, just to have the space. And my last studio, the one you did a video for, that was 900 square feet. So super tiny.
Yep.
So now this is just under 3,000 square feet. So got plenty of room.
And you guys put some love into this house. Like nice renovations. And
yeah. When we bought it, it was like a flip house, but it was kind of flipped halfway. It wasn't all the way done. So my wife and I, when we were living here, we put all this in, wallpaper, painted, more cabinets, and just kind of finished the flip, made it, people that flip houses kind of don't do it all the way. So
yeah.
Did a bunch of repairs, plumbing, electrical, all that kind of stuff. So
sure.
We kind of took it, picked it up where they left off and made it our own. Kind of went with the black and white vibe.
I love it.
Feels good.
This whole front half is one part of the house, and then there's a back half of the house.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a brick house. It was only a little 3-bedroom house. I mean, you'll see in a second, these rooms are really small. This would have been the whole house. So then at some point, I think it was in the early 2000s, whoever owned the house built a complete second half of the house that goes to the back.
Very common in Nashville.
Yeah.
These brick ranches from the 60s,
totally.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. So that's exactly what this was, and then they added on to it. So
killer.
Come check out.
Let's see what's back here.
I don't know if you want to see the bathrooms.
Okay.
Gucci wallpaper.
Oh, yeah. Look at that, the tigers.
You know?
And you got the double.
Double bathroom. I don't really have an explanation for that.
Nah, dude, guests go in here.
Guests go in there.
And the kids go in.
No, that makes perfect sense. But yeah, there's a whole other bathroom right here.
Love that. Full bath for the guests.
Full bath for the guests, yeah. And then this room, which was my youngest son's room, is now a drum closet. Yeah, I was gonna make this another guest room, but then I decided that until I need that, that this is just gonna be storage. Stands, chairs, drum stuff, hardware, all that kind of stuff. So I'm a drummer, I started as a drummer, but if other drummers come in, which is a little rare, but happens for sure, they can come in and piece together a kit that they like with plenty of options.
Yeah, you got some great choices here.
Yeah. Some of them are new, some of them are kind of vintage. The one that's out there, that's the big boy. You know, Slingerland kind of vintage. The one that's in the front is also another old 50s kick. But honestly, one of my favorites is this small Gretsch.
The old Gretsch Sparkle.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that. So
is that 20?
I think it is 20. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Plenty of drums to choose from in here. And then this room is just a guest room. I've got a few, clients from out of state. They can come, they don't have to get a hotel. They can just kind of shack up in here. I'm also got like an RV in the back if they're, need to stay there as well.
It's incredible.
Nice, comfy, cozy. Amazon,
I even got a little, y'all bring your dog or cat.
Yeah. Sometimes I do bring our dog here, and when I have to leave, I just throw them in the crib.
Nice.
Next is the B room. So it was really important to me that one of these rooms ended up being another studio. We have, writers camps to get together with multiple writers. We split up into groups and come in here and cut good vocals, acoustic, whatever you need. When I started in music, like this would have been awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's cool that this is now my second studio.
The other room.
The other room, yeah. We've got a pair of Adams in here.
I was gonna say, this is good stuff for another room.
Yeah. Just kind of like my overflow. If I don't use the gear anymore, I kind of just bring it in here. I mean, I've had this 610 for years, and it's just tried and true.
Standing desk.
Yep, standing desk, Amazon.
And this is like plug and play. So other people can
bring your computer, plug it up. 2 mics, you can do an acoustic or whatever, you can do it in here. So next week we got a few big writes, so this room will get used pretty well.
Is it the R10?
Yeah.
R10.
I love those ribbon mics, those are really cool.
Little SD1.
Yep.
Universal audio.
That's the secondary room.
Love it, dude.
Still got when my kids lived here, writing on the wall. So that's part of it. Package deal comes
Shout out to them, yeah.
Just didn't paint it over, just decided to just go with
not.
it. Yeah. The front wing of the house, we'll call it.
Love it. Bro, what is this coffee machine? This looks like I need it in my life. This is a real deal.
It's like a espresso cafe. Same brand that makes the dishwasher and the
cool
oven. These were all ours, like as a house, family. When we built this new house, it came with new appliances.
A bunch of stuff.
So we're like, oh, awesome! I get to just keep all this stuff here. Most, writers in Nashville and Franklin are coffee addicts. So I'm like not super like I need coffee, but I'll drink it for sure. Yeah.
Some beverages.
There you go. Beverage cooler. Yeah, exactly. Pantry. I don't think this is very stocked right now, but try to keep snacks and stuff in there. Before I have like a actual session, I'll fill it up and
I love
everything you need, man.
I love this, man.
Can't complain.
Whenever you move on to your next thing, let me know. I'll take this house right off your hands.
All right, sounds like a plan. Just put this door in because when this was just a regular house, there was no door here.
Got it.
So I definitely needed some separation into the main room.
Wow, this is the main event in here. All in one room, one big room.
Yeah.
This is a really big room.
It is, and that came with some challenges for sure, but I really like the one room concept. It's kind of my workflow.
Yep.
Typically, I'm a producer, but also co-writing demos to then later produce them. To have everything right here at our fingertips is like really important. To be able to quickly queue up a mic, everything's in arm's reach pretty much.
So much space there. You're not tripping over each other.
Yep.
You could bring in some extra stuff. And
yeah. In my last studio, the one that you came to, any more than 2 or 3 people in that room, and you're kind of like, okay, there's too many people in this room, but now that's not an issue, so that's great.
So you got it broken down into a few different zones here. Walk me through it.
All in the back, clearly the drum area. I am gonna get some more gobos. I think that's one thing I'm missing, just being new in the space. Surround this a little bit more with some gobos.
It's a solid drum space. There's a lot of room here.
Yeah, totally. Plenty of room. You still flow and walk through here. The mics will all go to a snake that goes completely around the room. That was probably one of my biggest challenges, is figuring out the wiring. This not being a studio previous, you kind of, you know, blank canvas. But for now, I've got the snake running. Should probably secure it a little better to the ground, but hey, we're just rocking it. Typically, like with it being in the same room, you kind of have to go one extra step and, you know, mic everything up, get your levels, listen to what you just did, go back a couple times. I'm sure you know that whole.
That's my life, dude.
That whole song and dance, yeah. So
how do you get your sounds and levels? It takes longer. That's the answer. It takes longer.
It does.
It's a little more annoying.
Yeah, it does. It does. If I know that I'm having drums cut the night before, I'll get as much of it done as I can.
Yeah.
You know, that way when they come in here, we only have to just do a take or two.
You got a Frankenstein here. What do we got?
Yeah.
Is that an old Ludwig?
Yeah, so it's a mixture. This might be controversial, I guess, because some people really tend to say they don't like mixing drum kits.
Oh yeah, let us know in the comment section.
Yeah,
start a war.
Yeah. I am on the side of none of that matters. It just matters what song you're doing, how it sounds.
Yep.
It's kind of just a hodgepodge. The kick is a Slingerland vintage, like 50s kick. This floor tom is a Ludwig Centennial, and then these two are Gretsch. No rhyme or reason per se, it's just the sound. And these are like constant opals, so a lot of this kind of has like that
big
drum and
fatties.
bass, vintage fatty kind of sound.
Yeah.
So depending on what we're doing, like if I was doing a rock song, it would be a completely different setup, pretty much, you know.
Yeah, I bet they sound great.
Yeah, so.
I love this rug too. It's a huge rug. Not as big as that. That rug is
that's a huge rug.
Outstanding.
So the rugs were a bit of a dilemma for me. When I moved in, my old studio had just very traditional, like the rugs that are in those rooms over there. But when I brought them in here, first, they weren't sized right. I mean, this is massive.
Yeah.
But also, I didn't want it to be so like cliche studio.
Yeah.
I like the feel. My studios have always been like living room vibe. Professional enough to have good gear, but also not so overly commercial feeling.
Yep.
To where anyone can come in and just automatically feel comfortable. So the rugs are part of that choice. And but you know, sometimes I'm also thinking if I should get more rugs, but I'm playing that by ear. But
rugs are not cheap.
Rugs are
especially when they're big.
Yeah, this rug was like probably $1,200.
Yeah, $1,200 on a freaking rug.
Yeah,
that's a pretty thick rug too.
Yeah, I went to like
heavy.
I went to a place that has like the Persian studio type rugs, and we're talking $3, $4, $5 a rug.
Yeah,
you know, so this was actually a deal.
Yeah, I like the color too.
Yeah, totally. Kind of matches
the aesthetic with the flow, cabinets and stuff.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so what's in the cabinets?
So these were my kids' homeschool desks. And when I was configuring this room, I was like, man, should I tear these out or what am I gonna do, you know? But then I'm like, man, I should just adapt to them. So put panels in between and I just use everything for all the storage I need. We have
gear,
microphones, cables, you know.
Oh, you got the same dust gun as me.
Very important. Very
that thing's
important.
huge, dude.
Yeah. So just random stuff that I might need to just hop up and grab really quick.
Yeah.
Microphones, some of them are just out being used, some of them are here. Mostly these are like what I use for drums. The rest of it is all just cables and, you know, try to keep them semi-organized of just all extra cables that I need, patch cables,
beautiful.
XLRs, 1/4 inch.
Out of the way.
Yep, out of the way. Paper and stuff, if, you know, lyrics, more cases. There's a Manly reference gold in here, which I don't use as much as I should, but for some reason I really just love my vocal mic, and so depending on who's singing, I will bust that out, but I am a big advocate for my Telefunken over here.
I was gonna say, which one is this?
It's like the Copperhead.
Copperhead TF
29.
29.
Yeah, but not a super expensive mic. I think it's maybe like $1,500 or maybe a little bit less. But I just love the way it sounds, and I feel like it sounds good on everything. When I mic acoustic, so this is like the vocal mic. Sometimes I'll pull the mic out a little bit if a person wants to be closer to me, but you know, acoustic, I'll take both of these mics and mic the acoustic. So
that's nice.
Grab and pull whenever I need it.
So much space, dude.
Yeah.
You could do a proper Nashville session in here.
Exactly.
Got all these keys too.
Yep.
Fancy Privia.
I just picked this up. This up. It is cool. Yeah, just like I noticed when we were songwriting, if another writer has an idea or a melody or something, they're not asking me, hey, can you pull up a VST real quick?
Yeah.
Because I noticed like I have synths and I have my controller, but I didn't have anything that anyone can just hop over here,
tactile.
and just play, you know? So I just keep it on. If they have an idea, a melody, they can hop over here. We can still record it if we need to. And it just looks so cool with the mustard vintage look.
Yeah.
That it was hard to pass up. I was gonna try to get like a whirly or something, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to spend 10 grand on like a refurbished nice one. And plus the whirly only makes one sound. So
Yeah, that's true. Previews are great.
previews are great.
Bro, look at this micro cord.
Classic, which I did just see they just dropped a new version of that. I was curious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a classic, tried and true. Synths get used pretty often. I mean, I'm more of a drummer, but I can play some keys, mostly melody, lead things, ideas like that, sounds, you know. All the synths are just for texture and ear candy type stuff.
And all this stuff will run to the Apollo.
Yeah, yep. So I'll just usually whatever I'm doing, I'll just grab a cable. Sometimes I'll run it through like this 710, but just like depending on what it is, like it may not be fully necessary, so I could just throw it straight to the Apollo. Apollo's got great pre's.
Well, you got some good stuff over here.
I love the 710, just 4 pre's, kick snare, tom. 500 series. Are you a 500 series fan?
Yes.
like you had
The
some.
answer is yes,
Okay.
but I'm changing how I'm using it from preamps to outboard EQs.
You know, we got 2 312s right here. Guitars are great through these.
Yep.
Overheads are great through these.
Bro, everything's good.
Everything's pretty great through these. The Neves right now are for acoustics.
Okay.
And then I really love these Pope Audio EQs right here. They're like a shelf EQ, you know, it's like super simple.
Yep.
Amazing for acoustic, because if you're miking to acoustics, you know, you typically have one mic that's like a compressor, maybe more boomy. Then you have a ribbon mic. You can really dial in the 2 mics to make sure they're not so closely EQ'd to each other. So I've been a big fan of those.
You got one of the little SSL channel strips.
Yeah, and that's brand new. I actually haven't even used it yet. So
And a Pult. Is that a Pultec?
It is.
Little
Yep. It's a Pultec.
500 EQP1A.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
And that's great to use. I pretty much use that on everything. Typically gets used for like hi-hats.
Whoa, really?
I know that might sound crazy, but I don't EQ in on my vocal chain.
Okay.
So I'll use this for hi-hats or like just dialing in a sound, maybe guitars that just need a little
Not bass,
extra.
huh?
I haven't used it on bass yet.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that's what I do next. I really don't try to stick to one thing.
Okay. Yep.
You know, a lot of people plug it up. Their chain is their chain.
Guilty.
That's what works. I am that way on some things,
Yep.
but mostly instruments, I will, however I'm feeling, honestly, I'll try to switch it up. I mean, you really can't go wrong.
Yeah.
When all the
With
gear
any of
is
this
great.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, there's not really going to be a chain that sounds bad if you...
Especially if you like working on projects where you got time to kind of experiment a little bit,
Yes.
play around.
Yes.
That's fun.
Yeah. And so when there's setups that the artist wants to experiment and play,
Yeah.
then I can do that. But then on the flip side, if they're just in here to
Crank.
write and knock it out,
Yep.
we can do that too, you know.
Got some more goodies over here,
1073
bro.
on vocals, of course. Good friend of
DPX.
mine actually gave that to me. I was
Oh my
super blessed by
God.
that. He had like a house fire and his insurance was able to pay for a new one.
Wow.
So he gave me the old one and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So I was super fortunate about that. And it's classic pre.
DPX is a good one.
Yeah. And it sounds
awesome.
great on vocals. So that's, right now vocals, I'm doing 1073 to the LA2A.
I mean, that's pretty tough. You're slumming it up in here, bro.
Yeah.
1073 to the LA2.
It's tough, man. I'm making it work, you know, making it work.
That's thick. You got
So-
the ELOP.
Yeah, which that also, the guy who gave me this with the house fire gave me this as well.
Oh my God, you gotta connect
So I
me to
got
this
super
guy.
lucky. I know. I got super lucky, super fortunate about that.
That's cool.
And that's essentially like, it's a, you know, optical compressor. So it's essentially like
Yeah.
an LA2A,
Yep.
just, you know, gain peak reduction.
Yep.
Pretty simple to use. I like the simple to use stuff.
What are these speakers?
Oh, the A77s?
A77s.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, so this must be like the newer ones.
Yeah, yep. And that's a new addition for me. Before that, I had the Dyne Audios,
Oh, that's right.
which I loved, which are great. But now that I'm in this room that's a little bit bigger, I just need a little
Yep.
bit more power. My last room was like less than half this size.
Yep.
So the Dyne Audios were perfect, but in here...
Most rooms are less than half this size.
Fair enough.
I love it, though.
So yeah, the Atoms are great so far. They've been working awesome, and I got an Atom sub on the way, which I'm excited about.
This beautiful desk. you just told me, I already forgot. Sound design?
Yeah,
is the
sound
guy?
design on Instagram. Yeah,
Yep.
I think it's an underscore sound design with one D in the middle.
Sound design.
I forget his name because it's been a couple years since I talked to him, but makes custom desks and side carts.
Yep.
And a
Oh,
keyboard.
yeah.
They all match and stuff. And
That's great.
you tell them what
desk.
you want. Your standing desk, yep. Which it's been a little while since I've.
When you're doing production and you're writing and you're like kind of
Yeah.
up and down and moving, that's nice.
So I have one client who, when we cut vocals, he likes the vocal mic to be right here, so he's directly next to me.
Yep.
And so I'll raise the desk and just kind of be eye level with him and get into a little bit of a flow there.
Yep.
And that comes in handy when it's time for that. So
That's nice. Super clean. Beautiful
yeah,
looking desk.
yeah, I love the desk, and it's lasted me and does great, man. And he's cool. You kind of tell him what shelves you want, you know, what rack units you want, and then he'll send you like 10 different pictures of different slabs of wood, and then you get to pick based on like the design what you like, which was cool.
Beautiful.
So we're all going through Apollo. On my list to get is probably a second Apollo.
Okay.
I always debate of like whether I need it or not. The only time I do need it is drums to get more mics, you know, because you got the 8 here. So 9, 10, 11, 12 is typically what I use. But I just bypass the pre and, you know, run it straight through as an input.
Oh, right.
So that's on the to buy list.
On the list, yep.
Yeah. If Apollo
The
or
never ending.
Universal Audio like wants to sponsor me or something, like
Yeah.
just, you know, comment.
You got this RAM, is that what it's called?
Yeah, the Heritage Audio RAM 2000.
Now you've had it for 3 or 4 years now, right?
Yeah, I had it.
How's
Before that, I had the PreSonus, you know, the one that everyone
yep.
gets, kind of entry level.
Yep. How's it been?
I love this one. I think my favorite thing about it is the Bluetooth. So if you come over and you're like, hey, like you want to listen to this song, I don't have to say, hey, email it to me or no aux cable. Just hit the button, they go on their phone, find the Heritage, place to the speakers.
Great.
Awesome. Love that. Love that feature. You know, three outputs, you know, if I want to do mains, secondary, sub.
Yep.
Talk back, which I don't typically need because I'm in the same room. 2 headphones, and I got 2 more headphones in the Apollo. Exactly what I need.
Yep.
Meets my needs perfectly. So
And you got the big knob.
got the big knob, yeah, which has a little sound.
relay.
I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
the sound is satisfying. You know,
Yeah.
it feels real.
And then what's that? Don't tell me. Native Instruments controller.
What, this here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Nice.
complete. Yeah, just
It's a good one.
programming.
Yep.
Whipping stuff up, easy.
So you're not only engineering, but you're also doing a lot of tracks and production.
Totally.
What are some?
Yeah, more so than engineering. I mean, I would say like the last probably like 4 or 5 years, I haven't really engineered for people strictly. It's just been producing or co-writing and then mixing as well. Mostly mix stuff that I do, and then I'll mix for other people just on occasion.
Sure. So what are some tools that you like to use to get a production started that are helpful for you in the box?
I think Contact's a big one for me.
Okay.
I use that a lot.
You ever use it for drums, or do you use
Totally. I think it's just called Studio Drummer. Do you use Contact?
I do use Contact, but
Okay.
I haven't really used drums on it.
So let me just find it real quick. Yeah, Studio Drummer. Really solid. It's kind of similar to like Superior Drummer.
Okay.
I think this is Native's version of that.
Oh, interesting.
So there's different kits, maps out to your keyboard, obviously, and I use that for quick live drum sounds. If I'm not gonna just hop over here and mic this up really quick, if I'm just demoing something. So I use that. Let's see. I actually use Contact a lot. There's the Complete Control, which I use at times for sure.
Yep.
Super 8's another one that I use quite often. This one right here.
Oh, interesting.
I use that quite a bit. It's just like a synth, you know, just like tons of sounds in there. So if it's not that, I mean, typically, like, especially in the last like year, most of the stuff I've been doing like is starting with a guitar player or piano player.
Yep.
So it's less on me to start inside the box, you know?
A little more emphasis on the actual song.
Totally. I mean, for years, I was just making tracks, making beats, you know, focus on production and then pitching them to artists. Some would work, some wouldn't. But now, as I'm getting older, changing my career a little bit, it's a lot of the songs are starting just straight recording, writing the song,
Yep.
demoing the guitar, demo vocal, they leave, and then I just start building on top of that. It's when everyone leaves is when like my magic comes in. I feel like it's
Yeah.
we write the song.
You get a little more time.
Yeah, I don't feel like the pressure to perform either. That's just part of it. Sometimes you have to perform. But I really like writing from scratch with a writer, guitar player, piano player, and then building from there.
And this space is so conducive for it.
Totally.
I mean,
Yes.
not feeling claustrophobic, having, I mean, you got a bunch of chairs in here and a couch. Like, God, it feels so nice.
Yeah, I mean, moving in here, my main goal was just to make it feel like a writer's retreat.
Yeah.
Every session, even if we're just doing vocals or whatever it may be, I want it to feel like super comfortable and creative. And also working sometimes with artists that are newer can get really intimidated by commercial studios.
Yeah.
Especially booths and like the glass separation.
Yeah.
For some reason, that barrier sometimes can hinder some of the flow, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so that's why like this comfortable one room, almost like this was a basement or something in someone's house, is super like important to me. And I just like being chill and comfortable.
That's great. Well, one thing we didn't point out is you got this UF8 over here.
Yes.
That's new since last time I was here. Obviously, I don't think it had come out yet.
Yeah. But I think you're right. I mean, I think I had the Avid ones.
Oh, you did?
In the last video. At some point, Avid stopped the support on the, I forget even what they were called, but.
Artist Mix or something like that?
Yeah, you got it. So then they came out with this, and I've been loving it. I actually don't use it fully to the functions that they.
Of course,
I use it.
There's too many functions.
There's too much. I mean, I typically, like if I'm in the box and say I have a session here, I'm locating a track. As soon as I click it, you can twist this knob, and it.
Yeah, you can see where it is.
It just comes right into the front of your face and easily mixing multiple tracks at the same time.
Yep.
It's just better than coming over here and mouse clicking the volume.
Yep. Edit window mixing.
Yeah, and especially when, let's say you have a stack of vocals, you got one in the center, you got left, right, and you want to keep that there, and instead of clicking multiple times, I can just grab all three, keep them in the same spot.
Yep.
And you get that feel of a console without having the console.
Yeah, it kind of gets the screen out of your way too.
It does.
So what's this project? This is something that just recently came out, right?
Yeah. So today, actually, the day we're filming this, I had a song come out with an artist named Cowboy Killer. He's younger dude, newer artist, super talented. Found him on Instagram and just really liked what he was doing, so reached out and we did a song together.
That's great. Is he from here?
I think so. That's
cool.
Yeah, he lives here and he's from here. I'm pretty sure he's like originally from here, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know his full history, but really good artist. He's with Yellow Wolf's camp.
Oh, cool.
Yellow Wolf or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's super talented, very musical. We did a song together that came out today called Saddle Up. Go check it out.
If you want to hear the full thing, go check it out. I'll put a link to it in the description.
I definitely got to give credit to Grant Benzinger. His name is Curly Grits on Instagram.
Okay.
He's a multi-instrumentalist. He played the guitars on this and the dobro.
Nice.
And we've been working on multiple genres together.
Yep.
And super nice, super talented dude. Absolutely just kills the guitars and the dobro and everything that he does.
So you cut most of this with all this gear?
Yes, not in this room,
Not in this
because
space.
this is brand new, but in my last studio. And then some of it was done at Grant's studio as well, because he lives in California, he's not from here. Got with Cowboy Killer, recorded vocals, I did drums, percussion, we did like the live claps on there, 808s, and then of course there's banjo,
Drums sound
dobro.
great, dude.
Oh, thank you.
Claps are a clap sample?
No, these are all
yeah.
the claps here.
Look at that. See, that's how you do it. I was gonna say the claps sound great.
Pretty sure these are claps. I have a really bad habit of not naming my tracks. So those are pats, and then clap.
Yeah, dude. Don't be scared to crank up some audio track counts and Pro Tools to get some,
Totally.
make your own samples.
I mean, and a thing for me and people who like know my style is like when I started, and I've done like hip hop for a long time, but also do other genres. Anytime I'm doing like any kind of rap song, I'm 100% putting like a live thing in.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I can't remember the last time that every track was like a digital element. Like,
Yep.
I have to put real human on it.
Yep.
So class, percussion, I mean, I'm padding on my chest, you know, just
Yep.
whatever like feels right, because then it just like makes a song feel like more human, especially if there's digital elements, which really in this track, it's primarily all live stuff.
Yep. Sounds so good, dude.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm stoked on the song, and I'm stoked for him because he's like a really good artist. And you know, I work with some artists that are big, some that are small. I just really don't care about that. I try to just like make songs that I feel good about and love, and that hopefully other people will enjoy.
That's killer.
Yeah, man. So let's see. We covered all of this. Covered these basic guitars. So the last section of the house is, this is a laundry room that I don't have wash and dryer yet for, but it's coming. And also
gear
tools, gear. Yeah, this is like some leftover gear that once I reconfigured my setup, some pieces I just didn't quite need. So I am selling those. Obviously like tools and anything I need for gear or the house or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the laundry room. And then down here, this is basically like a man cave, and this was like the master bedroom of the house. I didn't want to make this a writer's room because I wanted it separate from the front of the house. Like I didn't want people to have to come in from the front to back here. So this is just for me.
That's
and
great.
We have like a flight simulator because I flew planes for a while.
No way.
And just every now and then we'll hop on some games or something, or if someone wants to do like a interview or something, I can stream, you know, from back here. Gun safe, you know, just
all the important stuff.
Didn't want to ship that to my new house, so that stayed here. But yeah, just like an extra little room. I mean, if someone's using my room, I can come back here. It's just quiet and out of the way. Got, you know, toys and trinkets. This is the only place my wife would allow it to be. So if you're married, you totally get it. Kind of a little bit of a nerd still, haven't fully grown up. That's all of us, right?
All this is a luxury.
100%. I mean, I'm fortunate, man, to be in this position. You know, I'm 34. Since I was 14, I started playing drums. Then professionally as a producer, been doing it for just about 10 years. And it took that long at least to be here, you know, so it truly is like a 10-year town in my opinion. The last bit of the house is the back area. Actually gets quite a bit of use. Before a session, after a session, during a session, we'll come out, take a break. I like a big bonfire person, so we'll have a fire. If anybody's got kids, you know, I still have my trampoline and basketball goal over there, and you know, we'll just kind of grill out and just kind of hang out back here. Got the RV, family RV style, you know.
Party setup.
Yep.
Have little listening parties here too, man.
Totally. Yep. All that, man.
This is awesome. Well, that's great. I'll put links to the Instagram and the website, whatever you got, down in the description. And one more time, what's the record that just came out?
That one's called Saddle Up by Cowboy Killer. I've got a lot of music coming out, man. It's gonna be a really good year.
People can find that on your stuff?
Yeah, just follow my Instagram. It's probably the best place. I'm not on socials a ton, but to stay up on any music and stuff, stonebabysounds on Instagram is the best place. I do, you know, all kinds of genres, so I flip around to all different kinds of artists, man. So,
well, dude, I appreciate you having me back out.
Thank
Congratulations on this new spot, man.
I
It's
appreciate
beautiful.
you too, man. Thank you so much.
All right, go follow Thomas down in the description, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace.